How's it going, everyone? It's Ryder here, and welcome back to another Booster Course Pass predictions video here on the channel. With Wave 4 releasing about a month ago and the hype for it being more calmed down now, I think it's about time we start predicting Wave 5 of the Booster Course Pass DLC. I've got so many thoughts to share with you all, and I think the concepts and predictions came out very well. Before we do begin this video though, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated on when new videos release. Who's ready to step up that Wave 5 hype train? Let's get started with the predictions. The two cups featured for Wave 5 are the Feather Cup and the Cherry Cup. These two cups were of course a part of the prefix leak, which has been well known with getting most track placements correct. However, for the sake of this video, I'm going to stick with the route they have been doing ever since Wave 3, with mixing around the tracks a little bit from what the prefix leak originally stated, but I will still keep the prefix leak in mind, since it'll still feature the same tracks but just mixed around a little. With that being said, the prefix leak stated we would be seeing these following tracks in the Feather Cup: a Tour City track, a Wii course, a GBA course, and another Tour City track. The prefix Cherry Cup goes as follows: a Tour City track, a GCN course, an SNES course, and a Nitro track. Now that we know what courses we will most likely see in Wave 5, I started to work on mixing around the tracks. Since the Tour tracks have typically stayed in the same spot as the prefix leak, I will still keep them where they are. However, with the Wii and GCN and SNES and GBA tracks, I moved them around a bit to make them sort of fit better, at least from my perspective. With all of that out of the way, let's start predicting the tracks that will be coming in Wave 5. We will start these predictions by discussing the Feather Cup first. The first course we have is a Mario Kart Tour City track. At the time of this recording, Los Angeles Laps, Vancouver Velocity, and the recently announced Athens Dash are the only known city tracks from Mario Kart Tour that have yet to show up in the Booster Course Pass. However, I don't think it'll be any of these I just mentioned. That's right, I think we are going to see another city debut in Mario Kart Tour just before this wave releases. Now, there's a lot of speculation going around when new cities are being discussed, and it's honestly such a hard topic to talk about. There are a ton of cities that Mario Kart Tour has yet to dive into, however only one can go in this specific placement. So, what will it be? Well, I think it's going to be either a Madrid or Rio styled city course. It would be so cool to have Madrid or Rio represented in a Mario Kart track. Personally choosing between the two, I'd go with Rio since I have more of a connection with it than Madrid. But for the sake of this video, and due to some Mario Kart Tour object data mines, I think I'll go with Madrid here. Like I mentioned earlier, it is super difficult to predict new city tracks. It honestly could be anything. But I am just going to choose Madrid for this spot, and also call it Madrid Motorways. The second track I selected up for the Feather Cup is the GBA track. I think most of us know what this will be. If you have heard the music leak, it should be pretty obvious. I have selected Sunset Wilds as the GBA track here. This track received a major glow up in terms of graphics and gameplay in Mario Kart Tour a few years back. However, within its remake, it stays too true to the original and not really much has changed, other than the fact it has a small hill for trick boosting off of. That's basically it. Now, the reason why Sunset Wilds is likely for this spot is because it was shown in the music leak back in Wave 2, as well as in the banner leak. Both leaks notoriously known for getting pretty much every track in the Booster Course Pass at some point or another. And with there most likely only being one GBA track left and the prefix leak stating it'll be in Wave 5, I'm just going to place it here. I'm sorry, Yoshi Desert fans, but I'm not sure if we'll be seeing that track at least in this Booster Course Pass. Yoshi Desert, to those who don't know, received its first remake in Mario Kart Tour in the most recent Yoshi Tour, and it is fantastic. Sadly, it may not be returning in the Booster Course Pass due to Sunset Wilds, and if I had the option to choose one over the other, I'd personally go with Yoshi Desert. That track at least got more love thrown into it with its remake, having two new underwater paths and more elevation changes within it. Sunset Wilds, on the other hand, as I mentioned earlier, only has that one new jump boost section, so it's sorta gonna be one of the more lame GBA remakes we've received in the Booster Course Pass and Mario Kart Deluxe as a whole. One thing I can appraise about Sunset Wilds is that within every single lap the skybox changes slowly to nighttime, which is cool and all, but Yoshi Desert would have been such a better choice in my opinion. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this track will most likely release within this wave rather than Wave 6. It could also release in Wave 6 if Nintendo wanted to move it there, but honestly, it fits more within Wave 5 than Wave 6. On to the third track in the Feather Cup. I have selected the GCN course for this spot. The track I chose here is Mushroom Bridge. With the iconic bridge to the Wiggler buses wiggling along, you'll definitely have a fun time racing this track. At the time of this video, Mushroom Bridge has yet to appear in Mario Kart Tour. However, it is data mined to be coming very soon, with objects like the Bum car, the Wiggler bus, and the Mushroom car found in the files. You probably are saying, Ryder, Mushroom City literally has those too. It could be that track instead. And you are correct. As I explained in my Mushroom Bridge versus Mushroom City video, I stated that if Mushroom Bridge doesn't get placed in Wave 5, then it's more likely we get Mushroom City in Wave 6 than Bridge. I have a strange feeling that Mushroom Bridge was also meant to appear earlier than anticipated, since in Wave 3 we were supposed to be getting Waluigi Stadium, but got replaced in the end with Maple Treeway, and caused Waluigi Stadium to take the GCN slot in Wave 4. It then begs the question on what the original plan was for the GCN track in Wave 4. Personally, I thought it would have been Mushroom Bridge, but that didn't happen in the end, so I think it got moved to Wave 5's GCN track instead. You could argue that Daisy Cruiser is the more likely option here for the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, but I have a feeling they may have pushed that track from Wave 5 to Wave 6 for the Acorn Cup. It's really hard trying to explain the GCN controversy. If you'd like to hear more of a better explanation, check out my Mushroom Bridge vs Mushroom City video where I go in depth more into this specific topic. I felt like I didn't really need to go too deep into it here, since this video is more about Wave 5 predictions and not the GCN track placements. Anyways, I'll be sticking with Mushroom Bridge here. We are now on the final track of the Feather Cup, and it's a Tour City track. I think the city will end up being Los Angeles Laps. This course was originally intended to be in Wave 4 according to the music leak, but that didn't end up happening, and Bangkok Rush was placed instead. I can sort of understand the change, since the Los Angeles Lap track feels more suited within the Wave 5 track selection than Wave 4. This course has everything: the Santa Monica Pier, a relaxing beach, an oiled field, and even a literal baseball stadium. With so many sights to behold, I felt like this course would fit perfectly as an ending track for a cup since it's pretty ambitious for a city track. And that's all for the Feather Cup. Next cup we have up is the Cherry Cup. This cup starts off with yet again another Tour City track. Shocker. I think it's pretty safe to assume it'll be the newly announced Athens Dash. Based on the Athens city in Greece, this track has as much representations of Athens as it can. It's even got its own halfpipe section, a first for city tracks, and I'm all here for it. It's also got a partial Coliseum section, which is really cool, and also a DK barrel glider section. Now, they could put Athens Dash at the end of the Feather Cup since it's also pretty ambitious for a city track like LA Laps, but I feel like it could be in the Cherry Cup since it is a little bit more of an ambitious track. But they could also put it in something like the Spiny Cup since it is pretty ambitious for a city course. But I'm going to keep it in Cherry Cup to make things simpler. On to the second track of the Cherry Cup. This one I think is going to be a Wii track. What could go here? Luigi Circuit? Daisy Circuit? Mario Circuit? No, it's none of those. I have chosen Dry Dry Ruins for this special Wii placement. This track recently got an amazing remake in Mario Kart Tour, and it made me realize how much this track needs more appreciation than it gets. The soundtrack is a banger, one of my favorites from the franchise actually, and the track itself has so much going on that you'll always need to be focusing. Honestly, who could go wrong with Dry Dry Ruins? It's not like any other track deserves this spot.
What are you doing, Ryder?
Wait, Albert? Boris? What in the heck are you doing here? This is my Wave 5 predictions video.
You're making a terrible mistake. It's gonna be Koopa Cape. It's literally been data mined in the banner. Imagine the humiliation when you're wrong.
Do you really have to treat me like that? It's just a harmless thought.
Harmless, but not kingly. Always have low expectations.
Alright, since Albert apparently knows what they're talking about, let's go with Koopa Cape here for the Wii track. This track got quite a lot of changes within its tour remake, with additions like a half-pipe section and the tube section of the course. While that's cool and all, it ruins the entire point of that section. It's meant to be a tube, not a half tube. And this track's graphics, yikes. Tour honestly ruined a lot about this track, so I hope if it gets ported to Mario Kart Deluxe, it fixes up stuff like the tube section and the rock textures. Now what will I do with Dry Dry Ruins, you may be asking yourself? Its only shot is by being in the Acorn Cup if it isn't taken over by a potential GCN course. Up next we have the SNES track. I think this one is going to be one of the Bowser Castle tracks. I placed the first one here for now, but I really hope it's the third since it is the most ambitious and it has a very unique track design. I know there's going to be people in the comment sections being like, Ryder, Vanilla Lake is coming because of the Kokomo advertisement boards. Now, may I remind you for the billionth time that these courses are all ported from Mario Kart Tour, and tracks like Vanilla Lake and Down Down Jungle are already in that game. So I think none of that theory is trustworthy, nor should it really be accounted for. The case that may cause Bowser Castle to have a less likely chance is that it hasn't returned in Mario Kart Tour yet. It's currently located in the files as an ID skip theory, which essentially means two tracks IDs that skip over another in between them, and something should be there, which has led many in the community to speculate it's Bowser Castle. And to be honest, we really need to see a retro Bowser Castle in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I think this is the only shot we have at seeing one. Maybe GCN Bowser Castle, but that's less likely. And we are now onto the final track for this Wave 5 predictions video. According to the prefix leak, it is going to be a Nitro track. The track most suitable for this spot is Mario Kart Tour's Piranha Plant Cove.
Excuse me? It's Deep Moray Trench.
You're still here? Would you just leave already?
It was the name I coined for when the track was first data mined, and I will still call it that whenever I can.
Piranha Plant Cove is a track set mainly underwater with ancient ruins based on piranha plants. There are many familiar underwater creatures we have seen in other Mario games, like the bulber fishes, jelly beams, and the terrifying moray eels. The track design is similar to how the city tracks are laid out, where there are 3 variants that combine into one. So when this track gets ported to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's most likely going to have laps taken in different parts of the track. Something I do want to talk about with this Nitro track spot is what if it wasn't Piranha Plant Cove? I think it may be the Mob DK track that has been data mined in Tour's files, which many have assumed it's going to be relating to Donkey Kong. But what if I told you it wasn't? Yep, I'm crazy, but hear me out. What if it was a Diddy Kong based track? I mean, have any of you taken into consideration that DK might not always stand for Donkey Kong? I think it'd be very cool to see a track based off of the Diddy Kong character. Or heck, if Nintendo wants to go bigger and deeper, they could make a track based off of the Diddy Kong racing game. See guys, I have ideas. Very smart ideas. But at the end of the day, it's most likely going to be Piranha Plant Cove here, so I may dive back into this topic of a Diddy Kong track in a later video, or in the Wave 6 predictions video. That is it for the track predictions for the Feather Cup and the Cherry Cup. However, we are not done just yet with predicting. We have to talk about the new characters that will be released in this wave. Specifically, 2 will be added.
Objection! Shouldn't I get any paragraphs in this video? I mean, I am right here.
Fine, I guess so.
With all that being said, let's get started. The first character to be added in Wave 5 is gonna be Petey Piranha. Not only would he fit nicely next to King Boo, his racing partner from Mario Kart Double Dash, it would most importantly be the perfect driver to include alongside Deep Moray Trench, a track based around piranha plants. Wait a second, you predicted this track to be the Cherry Cup finale? I'm telling you, that won't happen.
Albert, just do what the script says.
Fine. The second character is gonna be Diddy Kong. Now, unlike Petey Piranha, there isn't really any particular reason to bring him back to this wave, besides the fact that he feels like one of those drivers we should have gotten from the very start. Well, actually, there is a reason. Because this will not be Deep Moray Trench, but rather a Nitro DK track. And also, if by any chance we get Funky Kong, it makes more sense for them to appear in separate waves, for variety's sake. And he would fit in Wave 6 to be featured alongside the DK Mountain. What? No, it's gonna be Dino Dino Jungle.
Wait a second, didn't you make a Wave 5 predictions video already?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, since Athens Dash was revealed from Mario Kart Tour, my predictions have changed quite dramatically, so don't watch it, please.
Okay, Albert, that's enough. You can go now.
Wait, no, I'm not done yet. Give us Sarajevo, scamper!
And that concludes today's Booster Course Pass predictions video. Let me know down below what you think of my predictions and what your predictions are for Wave 5. Quick shout out to the current members of the channel. For our Wiggler clan, we have Willow Games and the K-Fett. And for our Frenzy Legends members, we have KChats575. Thank you for your continued amount of support towards the channel. It means a ton to me. If you'd like to become a member, consider becoming one using the link in the description below, or click the join button. Thank you all so much for coming, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, stay safe, and goodbye.
Make sure to check out my channel as well, Albert Boris.
Oh my gosh, would you please just go?